Kings and the Warriors, where each team has won on their home court twice. They go back to Sacramento for Game 5 on Wednesday. Adjusted series price here after the Warriors squeaked by with a 1-point win yesterday by virtue of a Harrison Barnes missed would-be game winner. The Warriors ended up, the first number that came out on the adjusted series price yesterday was minus 200. Remember, pre-flop they were minus 290, and even me, big Warriors guy, I'm like, what? Minus 290? That's Meshuggah. I think minus 200 was Meshuggah too. Now it's minus 180. Still seems high, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
what are we doing?
It's a best of 3, and you don't have home court advantage.
Kings are plus 150. The Kings have, the end of that game that we have to talk about.
Yes, we do.
So the Warriors have the ball with 40-plus seconds left, and they're up 5 because Malik Monk just took a terrible shot. And at that point, and I'm not looking at a live line at that point, but Kelley, what would you say? Up 5 with the ball, were the Warriors minus 1,000, minus 1,500 in that moment?
Probably.
Something
like that. Yeah, you probably nailed it right on.
So the only thing that can go wrong is a turnover.
In Gill, the Kings are playing scattered basketball.
Basketball.
They are putting up horrible shots. They look complete. It's the first time they look young, and they don't know what they're doing. So why would I ever believe the Warriors are going to ruin this?
Now, for those of us who were watching this game casually, we actually texted back and forth to each other, the Warriors are out of timeouts. We're aware of this just as fans watching, right? Just because in case something happens, the Warriors don't have timeouts. Steph calls a timeout when he's sort of double-teamed and trapped.
Steve Kerr was priceless.
Steve Kerr,
what are you doing?
Acted like, by his reaction, that he must have alerted his team that they have no timeouts left. He acted that way. Now, we don't know that. The reason we don't know that is because what a collection of mishaps by that broadcast. First of all, Mark Jones and Doris Burke. Mark Jones had no idea what was going on. First, 10, 15 seconds later, he's like, wow. And then he still didn't get, and Doris Burke usually is better than this, they still didn't get that the Kings, after the technical, get possession as well.
Yeah.
So the Kings end up hitting a tech, then De'Aaron Fox, because of course he does, hits a 3. Then, by the way, the Warriors, Curry shot that last possession way too early, should have got the clock all the way down to 0 and then thrown up whatever, and the Kings would have had 2.5 seconds to work with anyway.
Yep.
Instead, he shoots it 10 seconds earlier than that. So Mark Jones and Doris Burke had no idea what was going on. Then Malika, who I love Malika. Curry mentions in the post-game interview, I had a brain, whatever he said. She didn't follow up with, did you know there weren't any fouls? What were you thinking? She didn't follow up with anything. And then when they went to the studio and it was Stephen A., Jalen, and Mike Greenberg, it took them 5 minutes to get to Steph Curry calling that timeout.
If Barnes hits that shot, we're potentially talking about this moment for I don't know how long, for years.
I get it. It wouldn't have been the Kings' 4th win, but that would have been the way the dynasty ended on that. But you were saying off air, Kelley, which I think is the greatest point, right? So, just witnessed by the broadcast how Mark Jones, Doris Burke didn't get the moment, and then the follow-up from Malik Andrews and then the studio crew of Mike Greenberg and Stephen A. and Jalen Rose. Thank God Jalen Rose finally said 5 minutes into it, the timeout, though. It's the timeout, though. The timeout was everything.
It's the biggest part of the game.
And you said it off air, which is the thin line. I'll articulate it for you. Right. The thin line between that shot going in by Harrison Barnes versus that shot not going in is us this morning talking about the Warriors' legacy, the dynasty being on the fritz, being at its end, them blowing up the team, Draymond's got to go, blah, 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 versus barely anybody mentioning it.
Yep. It's not unfair to speculate what this Warriors team could turn into if they're down 3-1 this morning because of that mistake by Steph. They probably lose the series. I think that's fair to say. They're out in the first round of the playoffs, and what's the trickle-down effect from there? People are going to go crazy. Oh, Draymond Green, he's got to go. He's costing this team. Who knows where that snowballs to?
Yeah, and Draymond might have to go, period, no matter what, if they don't win another title. And by the way, Steph's legacy, which is pristine, 4 championships, changed the game, greatest shooter of all time, came back from chronic ankle injuries, whatever it is, right? Would have to have that little footnote at the end. But at the very end, remember, he called that timeout, a la Chris Webber.
Oof.
It would be a little footnote, but it'd still be a footnote. We don't have to say that footnote anymore. Whew. Oh, man. That was something else.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.